All right, but we got myself, Nate, Chase in studio today. Appreciate you guys tuning in to another edition of the Pure Tennis Podcast. It is big news for us in Cincinnati. Breaking news, Western and Southern announces they will be staying in Cincinnati for 25 years, starting in 2025. The Cincinnati Masters will become a 96-player draw event, a 2-week event. They got $200 million popping in there from we don't really know where it came from, abracadabra, but we're keeping our home tournament. What were your initial reactions yesterday at 10 in the morning? It was one of those announcements I told you before that we recorded. It's just like, how many times a year do you get those texts from multiple people when news is breaking where it's like everybody's hyped? And it was like, that was one of those moments where it was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Everybody's hyped about this. And that was the momentum that I thought it took to keep that tournament here.
Yeah, it was weird for me. I got an email from Western and Southern. I guess I'm subscribed to their emails. And the first thing I saw was this exciting announcement. I'm like, okay, this would probably be like, we'll have it for one more year. We're going to do some crazy celebration. I click on it, and it's a video of Novak and Coco. I'm like, all right, this might be something serious here. And I'm watching it, and I'm getting hyped. And it's like 9:45, 10 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing I did was text Nate and Joe. And the waiting game for me, I'm alone. No one is in my house. It's 9:45. I'm just getting hyped by myself, and I'm just waiting for people to text back. Weird feeling for myself, but so exciting. I mean, I couldn't be happier.
I was driving into work, and all of a sudden I was on the phone with somebody, and I got a few. I felt my phone. I was like, wait. And then everybody sent this article. I'm like, no way! Like on a random Tuesday morning, they dropped the news.
Pretty sure it's exactly 5 months after Ben Navarro said he was thinking about moving it. Exactly 5 months from the date.
So we hope Navarro and the BMOC Capital team want to be in Cincinnati. Kept Cincinnati fans on the hook for 5 months. It was a roller coaster because it was kind of weird being at the tournament this year where like everybody you see is like asking me, hey, you think this tournament's is it gone? Is it gone? There wasn't really a lot of people asking me about tennis matches or players. It was really people who were just out there to realize, like, is this really leaving us? And I think that, as well as the players at the tournament shouting out Cincinnati, it felt like at every opportunity they had, especially the big names, like you saw Novak was very adamant about his love for the city, this tournament, the fans, the legacy of the tournament, how much he's enjoyed winning it 3 times. Coco Gauff had a storyline finish this year, just winning her first Masters, and what she was saying about just being here, and just like they got the right people, players-wise, that genuinely wanted to be here to speak up, and I thought that was kind of a big turning point for this to kind of all happen.
I mean, the tournament itself, in my opinion, it was like probably the 5th best tournament the whole year outside of the majors. I mean, you could argue maybe Monte Carlo or Rome, but I mean, this tournament, the show that was put on by both sides of both tours, I mean, pretty ridiculous. I mean, the semifinal between Iga and Coco was also incredible. Was incredible.
I mean, and I think that final that you saw between Carlos and Novak was as good as any final as we've seen this year. Yeah. I mean, that was incredible. And the tournament was amazing. I think it was definitely a top 5 tournament. I think it was the top. Yeah. And Australian Open was.
We talked a little bit. Like Australia probably. I mean, you could even say maybe 4th because Australia was kind of a disappointment. I mean, Arena won her maiden slam, I think, right, in Australia? Yeah. That was the headline, but outside of that, I mean, Tsitsipas and Novak, that was kind of lame. So it's like, I mean, the tournament, what we saw, it was top tier. And now we get it for 25 more years.
I know, and I just can't imagine. I mean, there is land out there to expand on. I don't know why that was ever the concern of, like, they were saying that there wasn't land. I'm like, someone's got to, figure that out. I mean, it's definitely... This is a place that's a giant field. It's a golf course partially, but I think there's 21 acres they have to expand upon. This tournament, I can't wait to see what they're going to take it to the next level, and I can't wait to see what they do with that money, just as far as new venues, expanding the grounds, because what they have currently, in my opinion, is top notch. From what I've seen out there in other tournaments, it's like it's
and
hard.
The improvements they made this year.
I mean, yeah, it felt like
a night and day.
It really
in my
was.
Opinion.
What they did to it this year, I couldn't believe the improvements from just like. Because I was there in the summer, they hadn't done any upgrades yet, just there for a small tournament. I'm like, looks pretty much the same. And in the last 3 months before that tournament started, it just changed the whole feel of that tournament, making the practice courts feel more legit with just the digital boards. I don't know. So it's definitely...
Still need serve clocks, though, on the smaller courts.
Please put speedometers,
Or not serve clocks, speedometers.
Speedometers on every court that has... at least Court 4. Like, how does Court 4 not have a speedometer?
Yeah,
I'm like,
especially with the changes they made to it, and then not to everything. Where do you think that 200 million is going? What's the first thing you think they want to achieve?
I hope for the viewership of the venue. I think that freaking speedometer has to go on. That's got to be
the number one.
That's got to be top 3. Just because I think casual fans don't really know what they're watching, so it's like that you gotta have something that's tangible. That like when they watch a baseball game, they know what a 100-mile-an-hour fastball is. They know it's a freaking big ball. They got to be able to have some context for how to appreciate. And as the tournament gets bigger, you're gonna have more and more casual fans, less diehards. So it's like I was sitting next to fans, and I'm like, sometimes we'll be sitting next to these older folks or even younger folks who don't know, and you're like, see that thing behind there? That's how fast he's serving the ball. And they're like, you see how people are amazed. They're like, no way.
Yeah.
128? Like, oh my God. And it's like,
and you get Ben Shelton in there and he pops a 143. I mean, it's just,
it blows your mind. Yeah. It's just part of the spectacle of what the players do at the top level. It's like, when you and I go out there, they don't need to put a speedometer on there. You know, but when you got guys that can go at 130s, 140s, it's like, it's a cool. So that's one of them. I don't know. As far as other upgrades, I feel like the tournament's maybe a bigger grandstand at some point. I would imagine it's going to be the next big one.
That place was packed all week.
I think grandstand at Cincinnati is maybe my favorite place to watch a match from the baseline view under the
umbrella.
Under the umbrella. I think that is my favorite place to watch a tennis match. But making a bigger grandstand is probably, for a 96-player event, going to practically be in the cards.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I would like to just see what they do with as far as the vendors and what they'll do with that.
Now
situation.
That it's 2 weeks, I don't think they'll put a roof on it. I had originally thought, when I saw the $200 million figure, I'm like, okay, they might be putting a roof. I mean, that might be enough to at least cover, at least size.
I don't know if $200 million is going to get you maybe.
But I don't know. But then when I saw 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, never mind. They're not going to do that because it's spread out enough that it'll be fine.
Yeah. That is interesting, though, because it's a massive bummer with the weather situation.
The weather seems to always be a problem. That's why my mind initially went to roof.
Mm-hmm.
But
doesn't Cleveland have like a... It's like not really a roof.
It's not a roof. It's like a giant overhang.
But does it actually... Can you play during some rain?
I don't know.
That concept always interested me. Is like, at least on some... Like, is that... Feels more feasible, at least before you have the money to do it on center. Is like, just do it on some of the smaller courts and just put one of those big old leaf things over the top of it. It looks like a tent. You ever see that movie Ants Life? Or no, is that what it's called? Bugs Life.
Bugs
Life.
Yeah,
dude, that's where it's like this giant leaf that acts as like a just kind of
I know
channels all the water away. Yeah. Anyway, but that's all that I've got as far as Cincinnati. I thought that was amazing news. I mean, especially for this whole city. I mean, to keep that event one of the biggest weeks. Our favorite week of the year, I think. I mean, at least I speak for myself. I mean, that is my favorite week every year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, that's our Christmas. And it's for us to keep that 25 minutes north of the city. Mason, a massive keep for them as well. And I think the city deserves it. I think we got the best tennis fans in the world. We showed up 200,000 plus this year at the tournament. People come in from all 50 states, other countries as well. And it's
been here for 125 years.
What is that? That's next year?
Next year will be here for 125 years. So they're celebrating their 125th, and then by the time we're done with this, maybe again in another 25, it would be 150, that's a big deal. 150 years in one city, that's huge.
Isn't that what are we?
It's the oldest in the United States.
That's sweet.
Yeah, since 1899.
That's stayed in its native, in native
origin
city. Yeah, origin
city. Yeah.
Anyway, pretty cool. I know a lot of you guys are going to be excited that listening to this, so we wanted to, just kind of give our thoughts on that because it definitely weighed on my experience and thoughts of the tournament this year. I felt like it wasn't like people were happy to be there, but there was just this nervous energy around the place. I would just kind of, but then after that final, everything was like, wait, there's no way this tournament can leave. There's no way this place is out of here. Glad it's not going to be a pickleball, full-time pickleball venue. That was going to hurt me. I was already thinking about that. They're going to put this PPA tour here, this big event. They're going to act like
it'll still probably be like a major for PPA,
right? That's fine. Now they can do that. As long in the off season, that's fine. But the fact that was going to be known as like the pickleball place, I was going to be like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about some Shanghai action. That's the big event going on. The Masters 1000 in China resumed for the first time since 2019.
2019. Yep.
So first time back in 4 years.
4 years.
Where Daniil Medvedev was the reigning champ, gets taken out by Sebastian Korda this week in Shanghai. Did not see that coming. Medvedev had been playing unbelievable tennis. I mean, he was it kind of found his level, it seemed like, and it was going to be kind of nice swing of momentum for. I mean, it still is, obviously. It's not going to act like this killed him, but that surprised me. Just Korda definitely has shown that his level has been climbing, and he made a 250 final last week, I believe. Lost to Manarino. But yeah,
it seems like Korda is Medvedev's kryptonite on hard court, because Medvedev's record, I'm not positive, I believe it's 23-0 against other players on hard court this year, but then against Korda on hard court, he's 0-2.
Australia, and got him in the beginning of the year? Or when did he get him?
It had to have been Australia, because I'm pretty sure he's 23-2 on hard court this year,
way.
And his 2 losses are to Korda.
The Australian Open.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And straight sets, too.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. He was Australia. Yeah. That's crazy.
So I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe Korda saw he was in that side of the draw, and he's like, all right, I got to play good so I can beat this guy because I know I can beat him. But
Korda just looked. I mean, I made some crazy. I felt like predictions after his beginning in Australia. I'm like, this guy, like, even going into December, I thought he was going to be one of the top Americans. I remember before the year started,
in the top 25 after this.
Right, but I thought he was going to be pushing top 10, and I was. But he's going to be top 25, which is not not too shabby.
No,
and it's just shown that like when he's healthy, he's finally fixed his wrist, which is a big problem. It seems like than I ever remember it being, with all these players complaining about balls being switched every tournament.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Korda found his level big time for him to just get his confidence back ahead of the Australian Open, where he was looking like he was primed for a big time season last year, or this year actually. So Korda's balling out. Other takeaways would be Ben Shelton going on a tear. Yeah.
Shelton and Korda face each other in the quarters here.
Yep. And Shelton, his first, this is his best tournament outside of the U.S. Open and Australian Open of the season.
Yep. He's been bad, really, outside of the majors. He's been pretty bad. I think he was like 2-16 or something.
That's bad.
Yeah, not good.
Wow. Taking out Sinner the way he did, though, after Sinner Sinner's maybe a little bit.
Probably a little tired.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's like
he beat 2 top 3 players in last week's tournament. I mean, that takes a lot out of you.
For sure. Because
he beat Medvedev and Carlos, right?
But like Ben was doing stuff to Sinner, which was like stuff that he would do even if he wasn't tired. Just that big slider lefty serve on the deuce court,
which is dangerous.
It is. It's ridiculous. And like and Sinner's a great returner. I feel like he's always got like extra length. It seems like on the return where he always is able to extend himself and put the ball back in the court. Sheldon was hitting balls past him, through him, and just came like not intimidated by Sinner off the ground at all, coming in on just like a nice little chip approach, like not trying to do anything too special and just trusting his hands. And that was just like a very mature win for Sheldon on a hard court, and just a place where like we just talked about, there's no crowd there. It's not Ben's atmosphere, but he made it his atmosphere. He got hyped himself and was louder than all the fans. He just made it his own arena out there, and I think he intimidates guys on the tour. I think Sheldon is like one of the first players in a long time that like kind of.
It's a similar kind of arrogance in a way, like how Nick carries himself. He carries himself very strongly, and that can be intimidating to a lot of people on the tour. Not all these guys carry themselves in that fashion at all. And like I'm sure in the locker room, it perspires into what it's going to be like on court. And I think we saw him grow, especially the U.S. Open, with his shot tolerance. And when you go and you play a guy like Sinner, if you don't have shot tolerance, you're going to get wiped off the floor. And just especially with like his backhand side, like he's not bailing out or anything, and he just stays and rallies and finds his forehand to go big.
Well said. I think that's got to be my biggest takeaway from what is his game as well, is just the shot tolerance off both wings and not feeling like he has to fire on the first forehand he gets, but just working the point a little bit more, because his normal rally ball is freaking good. It's his just nice relaxed ball is it sounds like and then when he steps on it a little bit, it's over. Like he will break your wrist. Like he's hitting through your hands, and it's his forehand especially. But even his backhand, he's rounded it out more than I thought he could in a short time frame. I did not think he was going to be able to get this much shape on the ball from where he started as a complete slap on the backhand.
It's just within the last 3 months, really.
And it's paid massive dividends for him. And it's just because his movement's good. He covers corners well. He moves a little bit heavier than most of his top guys, but he's a powerful athlete, and that's just how he's built. Once he gets to the corner, he looks way more dangerous taking hacks now from the outer force of the court, which is huge. And that's Ben Shelton, 19 in the world in climbing. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
He's about to be a top 15 player in the world.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of opportunity in this tournament because there's not really anybody left. I mean, Rublev is the top player left in this tournament, and Rublev's been known to fold. So, I mean, he's got Hubie possibly next. Maybe your guy that you're going to want to talk about here, Fabian.
Yeah. We got yeah.
Go ahead and transition here to Fabian. Guy.
So we wanted to highlight, but no, we'll finish off the Shanghai. Fabian also first. What'd you say? First, the Hungarian man to ever make a Masters 1,000 quarter.
Correct. You would think it'd be Fuchs, but
yeah.
Fuchs has not. He's only done it in majors. He's not made it to a quarter.
This kid though, I know he beat Carlos this year in straight sets, and I know he took out like Demon or somebody else that was good. Yeah. But I never watched him. Like I never watched him. I watched highlights, but I never watched any of his matches. And I watched him play. I was up stupid late the other day watching him play Casper at like 3 a.m, and I was just, his game was so like relaxed, but like putting pressure on you, but like himself just being relaxed. And it was just like this. I'd never seen a player at 90 in the world look like that against top players. Like he
just
looked
comfortable.
Like you could, like Casper was not scaring him at all. Like with anything he was doing, he was out there doing what he does. But like in the drop shot was just on complete demand. Like whenever he needed that drop shot, it was back pocket. He just pulled it out and had Casper look. And Casper's fast, like one of the best movers. And he's just, Casper wasn't even digging these balls out of the ground. Balls were bouncing twice. He couldn't even get to them. This guy's got a little bit of firepower. He redirects the ball super well. Can take the ball early. There's no way this guy stays outside the top 50 for, like, he's coming. Like, this dude is Fabian Marijan. He is one to watch for, and there's not many players that I watch that I don't get to see before they get to the top 100, and I'm like, this is one of those guys that I'm just like, this guy's going to be, he's a climber. He's definitely, if we did the peak career pusher on Fabian, this dude is pushing. I'm saying he's going to be top, that's a top 25 talent. Like, talent, like, this dude is insane.
He's got good size. He's got, I mean, like you said, he redirects the ball really well.
Was he 24?
24. Yeah, he's 6'4", 170.
6'4", exactly. And he moves well. I don't know. And I don't know, his mental seems super
just very calm, very comfortable out there. It seems like he has a plan.
Exactly.
Not just kind of...
Is he the Roman Saflin of the 24-year-olds? Are they the same age about?
I don't know how.
No, I think Saflin's 26.
Roman seems older
25,
than that.
He's Rublev's age.
Roman is?
Yeah. So 26?
I think they might be 27.
27, okay.
Yeah.
So this is the dude that, and I think Roman Saflin's one of those guys that's similar. Like, it doesn't matter who he plays, he's going to play his game. You're not going to kind of take him out of what he wants to do. Anyway, Shanghai, other updates. Looked like, so Rublev just took out Tommy Paul pretty routinely, dominated him.
We got to talk about Grigor.
Oh, yeah, facts. Rublev is into another quarters. That's a quarters from now. That's crazy.
Quarters.
You got Grigor Dimitrov earlier this morning taking out world number 1 world number 2 actually, Carlos Alcaraz. He will beat.
It's a big deal for him.
He will beat one if he had to win some matches though to get back to number 1.
Yeah, I would imagine that Novak plays Paris, and I imagine he'll be in turn. So it's going to be tough for him to get the number 1 spot, and he's been pretty adamant about making it clear, like that's what his goal is. He wants to be number 1 in the world by the year end.
Not a great showing for him in Asia then.
It's been tough.
Beijing and Shanghai, Carlos is out.
He had to play against a guy that has been kind of his kryptonite and center, and somebody that has a head-to-head against him pretty well. And then Dimitrov, who I don't think has beat him before.
Dimitrov had never taken a set off of him.
Yeah, never taken a set. But Dimitrov, this is his best tennis he's played probably in his career.
That's wild. 32 years old?
32, yeah.
Grigor Dimitrov with one of the biggest wins I think he would honestly say this is one of the biggest wins of his career. At this
especially
age,
with the opportunity at this point.
Exactly.
Has he won a Masters 1000?
Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he won the Western and Southern. But I'm trying to think. I mean, Grigor has a massive chance to win this tournament the way he's playing right now. I mean, compared to all the other years he's had, and it's like you've mentioned today. Grigor might be playing the best tennis of his life, and he looks. They put a video up of him without a shirt on the bike.
Fitness.
Dude is six-pack, shredded.
He could have played another 3 sets today against Carlos, I think.
I can't believe how fit he is at this age right now.
I'm surprised you didn't know that. I was pretty big on Grigor probably 3-4 years ago, and I mean, the fitness that this guy has, I think he runs consistently like 6-7 miles a day. Like, not even like during tennis season, like he's comfortable with running that much. The guy is in the best tennis shape outside of like guys like Novak, or I mean, I guess you could maybe throw Tommy in there, but Tommy's looked a little gas on this back end here. But I mean, fitness wise, there's not really many guys that come close to Grigor, in my opinion. No. Especially with the pliability that he has as well. I mean, in terms of an athletic body, he's very similar in the same profile as Novak, in my opinion.
It's interesting stuff. No, and I guess I've never given Grigor his flowers because I just thought he was more of a. I thought he was a could have been, should have been guy, but
yeah, for sure.
I think this is the most fun I've had watching him play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's cracking that ball, and like just the way he's beating Carlos, like a guy that's this athletic. And I thought other people that were talking about this match beforehand, they were saying just Carlos is going to be able to do whatever he wants. He's going to be able to dominate with his athleticism, whatever he's better. And it's like that was not the case. Like Carlos was frustrated, like that he was not able to get the match on his terms. The Grigor's slice backhand continues to just be. It's one of the biggest weapons in tennis.
I don't know. Is there anybody that you would say has a better slice?
No,
I don't think so.
No, that slice backhand is ridiculous, and you cannot play offense off that ball. Like it's so hard to do anything other than just spit the ball back cross court. Like to hit like a only one that can do it is Sasha Zverev. Is the one I've seen to like be able to lace.
Well, he gets really low on the ball.
And he actually
can pick up a ball beautifully, especially on the backhand side.
Yep, I did love watching the Triple Z versus Hurkacz match as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other takeaways from the tennis in Asia? I mean, you got a winner? You got a prediction for the winner of this one?
I mean, right now it's so tough to say because Yari is one of the guys that's like it's so hard to gauge what he's going to do that day. I told Nate earlier, I think Yari is like a super watered down version of Zverev, but like some days he's just like he plays balls out and he looks like Zverev on court, and then. Yeah. But you know, most of the time I feel like he's just that watered down version. So if we get that version, I mean, we could see really Dimitrov. I like his draw. I don't know what his head-to-head is against Rublev, but I would imagine I still favor him if he's playing this good at tennis. And then maybe Ben. I mean, Ben Shelton, if he plays as good as he did against Sinner, I don't really know why not Ben. I mean, Ben's got a lot of the momentum right now on this side of this back half of the year, so we could see a Ben versus Grigor, which would be a really interesting matchup, kind of the old versus the new, and ultra talent out there, so...
And Grigor and Rublev notched at 3 apiece on their head-to-head.
Oh, okay.
So that's an interesting one. Shelton, so you think he gets through Korda?
I just don't... I still don't believe in Korda. I think Korda can string together some matches like this where he looks pretty good, but I mean, Ben's serve is so ridiculous. His forehand, if he's finding balls in the middle of the court, I mean, the points are over. I just don't see Korda making it through Ben. No, I don't. And I don't think Hubie and him would be an awesome matchup because it'd just be.
Hubie's good. Like, I think Shelton will hit through Hubie.
I think he'll hit through him, and I don't think Hubie can return his serve.
Yeah,
so it would just
that is insane.
I think it would be like a 7-6, 6-7, 7-6 kind of match.
Are you surprised by how you're talking about Shelton right now? Like at this level, you're talking about him beating.
I mean,
Shelton
with how he played throughout the middle part of the year. I mean, yeah, I am, but I'm not surprised because the talent that he had when I watched him in Cincinnati the first time I saw him. I mean, I'm like, this guy is definitely top 10 level type of talent. But he's super young, and seemed like development-wise he wasn't really going to be able to develop as fast as he has.
He's got Brian and his dad on tour with him now, traveling with him full-time. I think that's also helped a lot, just having his main coach since he's been young, just polish up whatever. I mean, yeah, it's like the way they went about business was do what you do best and let's just fix up the patches as we kind of go type of way. They didn't set out a mission to tweak anything crazy. They just kind of made his serve even better. They made his forehand even better. And then the rest of his game, whether it's the slice backhand, the backhand in general, volleying, they're just kind of tweaking those things and kind of just fluffing that part of his game as he kind of goes along this crazy last year and a half on the tour.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I think for me, if I had, that's a crazy bottom half though. I agree though. Give me Shelton out of the bottom half, which is about to
we also don't know where we get from Fabian Marjan.
He could take.
He could play awesome the next two matches. The next thing we never watching him in a final. You know
the Hubie serve is just that's gonna be tough to deal with.
Yeah,
though. I don't know about when Hubie's serving that and just hitting his spots and
trying to see if he's faced. He hasn't really faced Casper's like solid server, but he's not like a great server like Hubie.
Yeah.
So it's like he hasn't faced anyone in this tournament.
Casper's not in the same tier as Hurkacz.
No.
Out of the top, give me. That's tough. Give me. I'm not. Like, I can't go Ugo and Barron.
No, you can't.
He tuned JJ.
I know, but
I'm just saying, like 1 and 2. That's crazy. Like
he's coming off of a high though. I think he's still riding that high. I think he's going to get shot.
Who is?
Ugo is.
Why? Why?
Beating Tsitsipas?
Yeah.
You did not see the passion in him when he won that?
Yeah, but I mean, Ugo.
I mean, that's a big win for anybody beating somebody that high ranked. But like, I don't think people like Steph that much on tour right now.
Yeah.
And so when you beat somebody you don't like, the feeling that you get. I'm not trying to start any beef between these guys, but like, it just seemed like there was beef or like tension on the court.
We love that. Anyway, give me out of the top. Give me Rublev, and give me at the bottom. Give me Shelton, and
Okay.
I'll take.
Another interesting matchup between those.
That's
Just personality-wise.
That is an interesting matchup. I don't know. On that final, if we said Rublev versus Shelton for a Masters 1000 final,
Shanghai.
yeah, I'll take Rublev though. The experience.
He's so solid across the board.
He is. Dude,
He just doesn't give you that much.
And what he just did to Tommy, it's like Tommy looks gassed down the stretch of the season.
Yeah.
Tommy has not been the Tommy we saw in Cincinnati or in Toronto, really anywhere that we saw him kind of have this great summer. But I mean, what Rublev just does to you, he kind of does the like a python. He just kind of constricts and just keeps swallowing.
And it's just constant pressure.
You're just getting battered with balls like the whole match. It's just like, how much can you take from it? It's a beating, and it's just like
it pretty physical too.
He does, and he just consistently bashes balls into the corner. Doesn't really give you're not going to get rhythm off the ground with him. You know, every ball is coming hotter, and he's just hitting it's not. I don't think that's a fun matchup for players on the tour right now, especially on the hard court. I think that's why Rublev is good. And then against Grigor, he's just going to bash balls against and Grigor's going to just kind of get swallowed up by the power. I think so.
I mean, that's what we thought was going to happen today with Carlos. And Grigor really could have won all 3 of those sets that he played in today. He had match point or set point in the first set, and then Carlos played unreal tennis for 3 of those games to win that set. So it's hard to say right now. Grigor seems like he doesn't really get bothered right now by those big balls, but I mean, the game is set up for him to not have success in that.
All right. Let's finish up today with just 3 players, fans out there that are either new to tennis, coming in there after watching whether it was U.S. Open, Cincinnati, or just guys that have kind of come out of nowhere this year down the stretch. Give me one guy that fans should be keeping an eye on as far as a guy that should be breaking out on the scene a little bit heavier.
So the first guy for me is going to be Jack Draper. Jack Draper was 38 in the world. I'm not even sure what his injury was, to be honest with you. But he was out for some time, and he's
back.
Was it his back? And that's tough, especially for a tennis player. But now he's 93 in the world. He's found some success, had some good wins. He beat Hurkacz. What was that, in the U.S. Open?
Yeah, U.S. Open. Beat him in the straights.
Yep. Just big hitter. Definitely a guy I think could definitely find his way into maybe top 15. I don't know. That room seems to be getting crowded. So
I could see him top 20 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, top 20. Draper's got a lot of game, but it's about him staying healthy for a longer stretch.
Yeah, and just continuing to improve his fitness.
I like that name. Draper's a guy that, like you say, he's been a top 40 guy already. Showed that he can beat some of these top guys. Do think he has the firepower and the weapons, and just steady off the back end, can scrape the back end. My guy is going to be, though, we just touched on him a little bit earlier, Fabian Marijan. I knew I was going to butcher his last name. Fabian, though, dude is in. Guys, I'm just saying, this is the guy that. Tune into this dude. If you guys can watch him tonight, it's going to be a late night, though. 3:30 Eastern a.m. start in Shanghai. But record it, watch it the next day. I think this guy's worth putting on a show. And then Hubie's always fun to watch anyway. So that's my guy. We talked about him enough, but I think this guy's legit top 25 talent. Third guy, I think this is the guy you and I have both talked about a lot. Been heavy on Triple Z.
Zhang Zhizhen.
There we go. I was Zhang Zhizhen. The guy's 25 years old?
25, yeah, I think so.
6'4", freak athlete, born in Shanghai, playing in his hometown this week. Ended up losing a tough one in 3 sets to Hurkacz where he had chances, but he's the number one player from China, and he's number one Asian player right now in the world right now. I feel like, isn't he? I think he's number one ranked Asian. And
Probably.
it's just,
Yoshi might be
just won the
right
Asian
up
game.
there.
Yeah, he just won the. He just was. Yeah, it's true. But he just won the Asian Games, so gold medaled in that, and then a lot of momentum. And it's just been cool to watch this guy. He's only 55 or 60 in the world or so, but if he's got everything: athleticism, firepower.
He cracks
the ball, and he's just competes, and he plays with a fire that we haven't seen. I mean, Yoshi plays with that same type of fire, but it's like these guys they want it so bad. It's fun to watch this kid, and I say he's a kid, but he's 25 years old or whatever. Guys, I think he's going to be. I'm going to say top. I'll say top 25, top 20. It just depends if
he can smoke the ball.
He can crack. Yeah, but it's like all these guys can freaking.
Yeah, but it's different.
It is
Go
different.
listen to him hit in Shanghai because there's no crowd, so you can hear the ball really well.
Why is there no freaking crowd in Shanghai? I mean, that's wild.
26 million people in that city, and the neighboring cities probably have another 20 million in each one, so it doesn't make any sense. Regardless, go listen to him hit the ball. It sounds different.
Yeah,
he's uncorking on the thing.
No, I think if. No, he does have stupid firepower, and that's why I watched him and JJ play their 5-setter at the U.S. Open, and both those guys were just no one wanted to play a single point of defense. It was just funny watching those guys step on each forehand. But yeah, that's all I got today. Great news in Cincinnati. Hope you guys are living off that high. We'll see you guys definitely back in August. But cheers until then. That's all I got.